Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you my math resources, and I would say these math resources are good from ages, well, not necessarily an age group, but I would say second, third grade, all the way up through high school. Not all of these materials will be useful for all those grade levels, but a lot of them can be used across multi-grades. So the first thing that I have in my homeschool closet, we don't have a homeschool room, we have a closet that I house all my homeschool material. The first thing I would like to show you are these resources. Within our homeschool, we do lots of flashcards. So you may have seen these in prior videos, but we have addition flashcards. These are great for playing various games and also just doing fast facts. We also have subtraction cards, we have multiplication cards, and we have division cards. So these are actual staples that we have within our homeschool. We also have fraction flashcards, and this is really cool here. This is like a challenging math game, and it's also good for logic. So, I just give my child one card, and then we read it together, and then he has to solve it. So, for example, this says, Ted's toes. Ted loves tacky socks, and he never wears socks that much. Ted does have two fashion rules. Rule number 1, he never wears a dot sock with a fish sock. Rule number 2, he never wears a plaid sock with a cactus sock. And here's the question. How many wearable combinations of socks can Ted get out of his collection? So again, this is a really cool logic game. And if you're interested in knowing, the answer for this is 26 pair options. So there are 26 pair options. So the child would have to figure out, how did we get 26 pair options and what do they actually look like? So that's a really cool game that I like to play with my son. In this game, it says ages 9 to 11. So I would say that's 4th grade through maybe 6th grade. But you can start at the 3rd grade and help them think, and maybe even the 7th grade. But 7th grade may be a little too old for this, but I would say 3rd grade through the 6th grade. This is really good. It's great logic, helps them to think through math problems. The next thing that I really like is this here. This is really, really good for, I would say, kindergarten, depending on how fast they can understand concepts, all the way through maybe the 4th grade. So in this pack here, it focuses on what is the plus sign, what is a fraction, what's the difference between an inch and a centimeter, what are quadrilaterals, what is the time sign, what's an even number, what's an odd number, what does the divide by sign mean, what does the minus sign mean, how about telling time, minutes, triangles, polygons, circles, and what is a set. So from a kindergarten perspective, when you go through it, a lot of the concepts, in my opinion, are a little bit beyond kindergarten, but you can start the kindergartner just by reading it, counting, having them look through it, and recognizing certain things. And I would say 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, this would be excellent, especially for 2nd and 3rd graders. But again, you can start a little younger. It just depends on their learning capacity. Okay, so that's really cool. Some other resources that I use is plain old cards. Me and my son, we like to play battle with these cards. So we play 21 and we play battle. And basically, we take the card, flip it over, and then we kind of take cards out of the deck and multiply it as we get additional cards. And the person who has the highest deck wins the game. So that focuses on, you can do multiplication, subtraction, addition with this, and also 21. If you know how to play the 21 game for cards, it works the same way. So you can use basic cards for math. We also use dominoes for our math. So we play the game of dominoes like normal. However, when you connect the dominoes together, you would have to add it if we're doing addition, subtract it if we're doing subtraction, multiply it if we're doing multiplication, and divide if we're doing division. And if you're dividing, sometimes you will have to do remainders. So this is a great way to have a hands-on activity for math. Another game I like to play is called Squares. Oh my goodness, my son loves this game here. We've been playing it since 3rd grade. He's now in the 4th grade. So what you do, you take 2 dice, you roll the dice, and whatever numbers pop up, you multiply them together. You can add them, subtract them, it's up to you. But we more than likely play multiplication throughout the 4th grade. If you have a 1st or 2nd grader, I would say add and subtract. 3rd grade, great way to help them memorize math facts for multiplication, introduce this game. So you take your 2 dice, roll it, and you add, subtract, or multiply the totals of those dice. And then you find the answer and you put your line. So if I'm blue and I rolled a 2 and a 2, that would give me 4. So I would put my line, I would connect these 2 dots over a 4. And then my son would go ahead and roll the dice. And let's say his dice was also on 4. He can choose another 4 somewhere else, or he can choose my 4 and put his orange line here. The first person to connect all, not all 4, but the first person to connect the 4 dots steals this, steals the square. And the person that has the most squares at the end of the game wins. This is an hour of fun. Some other resources that we use are these 2 here. These are excellent videos. Oh my goodness. I would say 3rd grade and up, introduce these. This is from the great courses, Mastering the Fundamentals of Math. And this goes through how do you add, subtract, multiply, perform long division, introduces fractions, adding them, subtracting them, multiplying, dividing them, all types of decimals, percents, probabilities, ratios. And this here is the secret of mental math. How do you do mental math in your head? How do you add and subtract in your head? How do you divide and multiply within your head? How do you do it without pen and paper? These 2 videos are excellent. Yes, you do have to sit down and listen to them, but the instructors are really good. The instructors are not boring. They are not mundane. They are actually very entertaining. My son at first did not like them because he was like, I'm sitting here listening. But this one here, he really enjoyed because it helped him figure out how to do mental math. And this here is a resource that we use before I start a lesson. So if we're doing a lesson on addition or a lesson on multiplication or division or probabilities, he has to watch the video. He's probably watched this video. There's a series of 4 discs in here. So he's probably watched addition, subtraction, long division, and all the fractions at least 5 or 6 times already. Again, this is a great way to have them listen. Great for auditory learners. And here are some other resources that we use. This here is Basher Science. They make excellent books, by the way, for science and for math. So this is a resource we use if we are working on an algebra or geometry problem. He can use this, and this just goes in and helps him understand concepts in a very easy, fun way. So for square root, it goes and explains what a square root is, but in a fun way. Coordinate planes. If he's doing a coordinate plane, this kind of helps him figure that out. What is a factor? Prime numbers, odd numbers. This is a really good resource. All their books are good. Another one by Basher Books is another math resource, and this one is for all math concepts. Okay, so this goes into 3D shapes. What is a polygon? What's a triangle? What's a circle? Angle? Why do we divide, subtract, add? It goes into units. This is just a really fun way to help your kids learn. Basher Books, depending on the subject, I would say is great for first grade all the way up. This book is excellent for elementary school, and this book is great, I would say, for 5th grade and up, especially if your 5th grader is pre-algebra or you're teaching them algebraic concepts. Great resource. This is a great resource for parents. How do you help your kids with math? They have a question about a concept and you're like, okay, how do I explain it to them in an easy, understandable way? Or how can they kind of figure it out on their own? This is like a dictionary for math. So this is for all ages. So for example, for standard form, if you're teaching them standard form, this goes into detail about what is standard form, how do you figure it out from a whole number to a decimal, how do you write it out, what is a decimal, what is the place value for each one, if you're multiplying it, how do you do it, if you divide it, how you do it. This is just an excellent resource as well for parents. This is another excellent resource for the child. It says middle school study guide, but we're going to start this in the 5th grade. So in the 5th grade, which he will be in for the 2018-2019 school year, this is going to be his resource that he's going to use for homework at the public school and for his homeschooling assignments. And I love the layout. It looks like a notebook. So if you're interested in notebooking, which we also do in the summer, but this is a resource that is similar to notebooking. So let's say they have a question about, I think I just saw the Pythagorean theorem here. Okay, I skipped it. But let's say they have questions about quadrilaterals and area. This goes into great detail about what it is, all the shapes. It gives examples and how-tos. It gives you some questions to test your knowledge. Excellent, excellent dictionary for kids in a notebook style. So those are the resources that I use for my son. He's currently in the 4th grade. I've been using these resources ever since the 3rd grade, and a lot of them will be able to use all the way up into high school, especially these here. These here in the videos, we'll be able to use these here up into high school. You can find these resources on Amazon, eBay, or any other type of website that sells books and DVDs and things of that nature. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you learned at least one thing that you can incorporate into your homeschool journey. And until we meet again, I will see you in another video. And don't forget to make it a great day. Thank you for watching.